If you've ever laid awake at 3 a.m. doing mental math about your bills, this video is for you. If you've ever avoided opening your bank app because you were scared of what you'd see, this video is for you. If every unexpected expense, a flat tire, a dentist visit, a washing machine that broke, feels like a punch to the gut, this video is especially for you. Because I'm going to show you the exact dollar amount where everything shifts, where you stop surviving and start actually living. But first, I need to show you how big this problem really is. And it's bigger than you think. A recent bank rate report found that 59% of Americans in 2025 don't have enough savings to cover a $1,000 emergency. 59%! More than half the country, and it gets worse. 27% of respondents said they have absolutely zero emergency savings. Nothing. And among Gen Z, 1 in 3 couldn't cover a $500 emergency. $500. The cost of a new tire and a tow truck. As Bankrate analyst Mark Hamrick put it, we are essentially a paycheck nation. Despite low unemployment, despite steady economic growth, people simply don't have a safety net. And here's what frustrates me when I hear experts talk about this. They treat it like it's people's fault. It's laziness, irresponsibility, lack of education. But it's not. The truth is much more complex and, honestly, much more cruel than that. Because there's something happening in your brain that nobody explained to you. There's a specific number where this changes. And it's not what you think. The number is $20,000. $20,000. Sounds like a lot? Sounds impossible? I get it, but stay with me because when I show you the science, the math, and the path, it's going to make sense. And more importantly, it's going to feel possible. My name is Tomas, and I study the psychology behind financial decisions. I don't sell courses, I'm not a guru. I investigate why people get stuck and how to break free. If this content helps, you subscribe and hit the like button. But more important than that, stay until the end. Because what I'm going to show you today could change the entire trajectory of your financial life. Here's what's really happening. And this is going to change how you see the problem. When you're constantly worried about money, your brain goes into survival mode. That's not a metaphor, it's neuroscience. Princeton psychologist Eldar Shafir spent years studying what happens inside the brains of people under financial stress. And what he found is disturbing. He explains that scarcity consumes what he calls mental bandwidth. Brain power that would normally go toward planning, thinking about the future, solving complex problems, all of it gets hijacked by the constant worry of how to pay the next bill. He calls it tunneling. As you devote more and more mental energy to dealing with scarcity, you have less and less for everything else. And some of those things you're neglecting are exactly what would help you escape the scarcity in the first place. It's like trying to swim with a backpack full of rocks. You spend all your energy just keeping your head above water. There's nothing left to actually swim to shore. And here's where it gets truly cruel. Neuroimaging research shows that this scarcity mindset directly affects the neural mechanisms of decision-making. People living under financial pressure consistently make decisions that often worsen their situation. They take out higher interest loans, they save less. They become biased toward the present. They spend more on lotteries, not because they're stupid, because their brains are literally operating in emergency mode. And the most striking part of Shafir's research? When those same people are placed in situations without scarcity, they make decisions just as good as anyone else. The problem was never capability, it was context. The cycle works like this. Without savings, you live in constant stress. Stress puts your brain in survival mode. Survival mode leads to short-term decisions. Short-term decisions create more debt and less savings. And that throws you right back into stress. It's a wheel, and it spins on its own. And it will keep spinning until something breaks the cycle. This isn't about willpower. This isn't about discipline. This is about how the human brain is wired to respond to scarcity. And until you break this cycle, no budget app, no side hustle, no money hack is going to save you. But there's a number that breaks this cycle, and that's where $20,000 comes in. Now, here's the part that's going to change how you see money. Nisha Shah, certified accountant and former investment banker, explains it in a way I'll never forget. She says there's a real reason why, once you have about $20,000 saved, everything changes. Before you have any money saved, you're living from a place of scarcity. Every decision is based on fear. Fear of running out. Fear of not having enough. Fear of what happens if something goes wrong. But when you cross that number, the fear loses its grip. And your brain finally has room to function properly. And it's not just opinion. Researchers at Vanguard studied over 12,000 investors and found something that stopped me in my tracks. Having just $2,000 in emergency savings boosts your financial well-being by 21%. 21%. And having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, which for the average American household is right around $20,000, adds another 13% on top of that. We're talking a 34% increase in how good you feel about your financial life. But it's not just about feeling good. There are three real transformations happening at the same time. The first, your brain exits survival mode. Remember the tunneling I explained? When you have that safety net, your brain finally has permission to think beyond next week. You can actually plan. You can take calculated risks. You can say no to a bad job or a toxic situation because you're not desperate. The second, compound interest starts working for you. At $5,000, interest barely moves the needle, but at $20,000, things change. Assuming a 7% average return, that's $1,400 a year in passive growth. Your money working while you sleep. And here's the beautiful part. The second $20,000 takes less time because your money is doing some of the heavy lifting. First $20,000? About 19 months of saving. Second $20,000? About 17. Third? Even faster. The snowball starts rolling. The third, and maybe the most underrated, you prove to yourself that you can do it. When you hit $20,000, you've built the discipline to get there. You've shown you can delay gratification. You can build something, you can control your money instead of the other way around. That psychological shift is worth more than the money itself. Now comes the practical part. How to actually get to $20,000. And I'm going to be honest with you because I respect you too much to pretend this is easy. Depending on where you're starting, this could take years, and that's okay. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-free-eventually plan. Saving $300 a month, it takes 5.5 years. $500 a month, 3 years and 4 months. $1,000 a month, 1 year and 8 months. $1,500 a month, just over a year. The numbers are what they are, but the question isn't if you can do it. It's how you're going to do it. First strategy, know your real numbers. As Nisha Shah puts it, most people have no idea how much they're actually spending per month or what they could realistically save. Her first tip is straightforward. Figure out your monthly inflow and outflow. Assess your real financial position and start building from your actual habits, not your ideal ones. I know this step is uncomfortable. Nobody wants to open their statement and face the truth. It's scary. It's embarrassing sometimes. But think about it. You can't fix what you don't measure. A doctor doesn't treat without a diagnosis. A mechanic doesn't fix without looking at the engine. Your finances are the same thing. So here's what you do. For 30 days, track every single dollar that goes out. Every coffee, every subscription, every delivery, every late-night online purchase, everything. Yeah, you can use an app like Mint or YNAB or a simple spreadsheet or even pen and paper. The method doesn't matter. The honesty does. After 30 days, separate everything into 2 categories, essential and non-essential. Essential is housing, food, transportation, health. Non-essential is everything else. And this is where most people get a shock. Because those $5 here, $10 there, $15 over there add up to hundreds per month without you noticing. They're the silent leaks draining your account. And finally, set a realistic savings number, not the ideal one. The real one. The number you can maintain month after month without suffering, without depriving yourself of everything, without feeling like life became a punishment. If it's $100 a month, that's great. If it's $500, even better. What matters is that it's sustainable. Because consistency beats intensity every single time. The goal here isn't guilt. It's not shame. It's information. It's looking at your numbers the way a scientist looks at data. Without judgment, just with curiosity. And with the intention of finding the spaces where money escapes so you can redirect it towards your future. Second strategy, and this is the one that makes the real difference. Automate or you will fail. Let me tell you a truth nobody wants to hear. Willpower fails. Not sometimes, always, every time. You can be the most disciplined person in the world, but on a bad day, a tired day, a stressed day, you'll spend what you promised to save. It's human nature, it's not weakness. The solution isn't more discipline, it's a better system. As Shah recommends, there are plenty of apps now that can analyze your spending, figure out what you can afford to save, and automatically move that money aside. Use technology to work for you, not against you. Here's the step-by-step. First, open a separate savings account. And when I say separate, I mean at a different bank. Not the same institution where you have your checking account. Because if it's in the same app, one tap away, you'll transfer it back. Distance is protection, and if possible, choose a high-yield savings account that earns more than traditional savings. Second, set up an automatic transfer on payday. before you see the money. That's the key. If the money never hits your checking account, you can't spend it. You adapt to what's left. The human brain is incredible at adjusting. If you receive $3,000 and $300 transfers automatically, within 2 weeks your brain is already operating based on $2,700. You don't even feel it. And you know what's crazy? Only 25% of Americans with savings accounts have direct deposit into them. 25%. That means 75% rely on remembering to transfer manually. And guess what happens? They forget. Or they spend it first. Or they say this month doesn't work, I'll start next month. And next month never comes. Third, start small if you need to. $25 a week is better than $0 a week. I know $25 sounds like nothing. Sounds like it won't make a difference, but $25 a week is $100 a month, $1,200 a year. And more importantly, it's the habit being built. The amount can grow later. The habit needs to exist first. And fourth, increase by 1% every 3 months. No drama, no suffering. From $25 to $30. From $30 to $35. So gradual, you don't feel it. But in a year, the accumulated impact is massive. It's like exercise. You don't start by running a marathon. You start by walking around the block. But if you walk every day, one day you realize you're running. This structural change, automation, is worth more than all budgeting tips combined. Because it doesn't depend on you remembering. Doesn't depend on you being motivated. Doesn't depend on you having a good day. It works even when you're not paying attention. And that's the point. Third strategy, and this is the one nobody wants to discuss, increase your income. I know it sounds obvious. I know it sounds like that useless advice of just make more money. But stay with me because the math here is cruel and it needs to be said. If you earn $50,000 a year and manage to save 5% of your income, that's $2,500 a year. At that rate, it takes 8 years to reach $20,000. 8 years, saving religiously every month without missing once. Most people can't maintain that for 8 months, let alone 8 years. Now, do another calculation. Cutting the daily latte saves $1,800 a year. Is it significant? Yes. But a $10,000 salary increase? That changes the entire game. Suddenly, you can save $500 a month instead of $200, and those 5.5 years become 2. And here's the truth that changed how I think about money. There's a floor to how little you can spend. You need housing, food, transportation, health. There's a minimum you can't go below, but there's no ceiling on what you can earn. The income side is unlimited, and it almost always brings bigger, faster results than just tightening the belt. As Shaw puts it, sometimes switching jobs or simply asking for a raise can boost your income more than years of small savings adjustments. If your job doesn't pay well and you're there strictly for the paycheck, be bold. Don't be afraid to demand more. And if you're not getting it, look elsewhere. And she's right. Most people have never asked for a raise, never. They work for years, accept what comes, and pray someone notices their effort. But the market doesn't work that way. Those who ask are more likely to receive. It's that simple. People who switch jobs strategically earn 10 to 20% more on average than those who stay put, waiting for a promotion. I'm not saying quit tomorrow without a plan. I'm saying look around. Test the market. Find out what you're worth outside the walls you're in right now. A focused side hustle can add hundreds per month. And I emphasize focused, not 10 things at once. One thing done well. A skill you already have that you can monetize. A new certification that puts you in a completely different salary bracket. A freelance gig that starts small but grows over time. I'm not saying it's easy. Earning more requires effort, courage, and sometimes discomfort. But it's possible, and when you combine all 3 strategies, knowing your numbers, automating your savings, and increasing your income, the speed to $20,000 changes dramatically. What seemed impossible starts feeling inevitable. Before I close, I want to give you something to hold on to along the way. Because $20,000 feels far away. And when the target feels too far, we quit before we start. So don't wait until $20,000 to celebrate. Every milestone matters. $1,000 saved. That's proof you can do this. You can survive a small emergency. A tire, a doctor's visit, an appliance. That alone puts you ahead of 1 in 5 Americans. $2,000. Vanguard's research showed a 21% increase in financial well-being. You're already breathing differently, already sleeping better, already making decisions with a little less fear. $5,000. You have 1 month of security. Survival mode starts to loosen. Your brain finally has a little bit of room to think beyond tomorrow. $10,000. Halfway there. Compound interest starts showing up for real. And psychologically, something shifts. You look at that number and think, I'm going to make it. It's no longer hope, it's certainty. Because you've already proven you can get to the halfway point. $20,000, the turning point. 3 or more months of security. Your brain exits survival mode. Your money works for you. And you've proven to yourself that you control your financial life. The vicious cycle became a virtuous one. Let me recap what we covered today. 59% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. Not because they're incapable, because they're trapped in a psychological cycle where scarcity hijacks the brain and makes every decision harder. Princeton researchers showed it's not lack of capability. It's the context of scarcity stealing mental bandwidth. But there's a way out. $20,000 isn't just a number. It's a threshold. It's where your brain finally gets permission to think long-term, where compound interest starts working for you instead of against you, where you prove to yourself that you're in control. The path goes through knowing your real numbers, automating so you don't depend on willpower, and finding ways to earn more. So here's what I want you to do. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, 3 things. Takes 15 minutes. Open a new separate savings account, preferably high yield. Set up an automatic transfer, even if it's just $25 a week. And write down, on paper, on your phone, wherever, your current number and your goal, $20,000. 15 minutes. But those 15 minutes could change the entire trajectory of your life. Because in 12 months, 24 months, 36 months from now, you can be in the exact same spot you are today. Laying awake at 3 a.m. doing math, avoiding the bank app, feeling every emergency like a punch to the gut. Or you can be on the other side of $20,000. With a brain that finally has space to dream, with money working for you while you sleep, with proof that you're capable of building something that changes everything. Every wealthy person you admire started at 0. Every single one. The difference between them and people who stay stuck isn't intelligence, isn't luck. It's that at some point, they decided to break the cycle. Today is your moment. The choice is yours. Trust me. Your future self will thank you.